Hello, my name is Sonali. Welcome back to another episode of Around the World. It has been well said that everything is fair in love and war. But looking at current circumstances, it would not be an exaggeration to say that global politics also follows the same rules. In fact, in the race to emerge as a superpower at the global level, all countries are busy countering each other. The seeds of friendship are growing between the two countries that were once considered enemies, while the countries that were once enemies are now becoming friends. However, nothing is permanent in politics. Actually, recently French President Emmanuel Macron attended India's Republic Day as the chief guest. There was tremendous warmth between the heads of state of the two countries. Seeing the growing stature of India, it is natural for its neighboring countries to cry. In this context, China also tried to capitalize on its relations with France. Since France and China recently completed 60 years of their diplomatic relations, China has used this golden opportunity to boost its relations with France. In such a situation, the question arises that why is China paying so much attention to France? What are the reasons that are bringing the two countries closer? Along with this, a question might be arising in your mind that what are the reasons behind China being politically so vocal? So let us discuss these questions in today's episode. These days, China, which is moving forward with the policy of expansionism, is trying to become a global power. It is adopting various tactics to achieve this goal. This is the reason why the Dragon Nation, which has always taken a tough stance, is softening on many issues. In fact, recently the political friendship between China and France has completed 60 years. Taking advantage of this opportunity, China has started promoting relations with France and has offered to break new ground. Apart from intensifying cooperation, both the countries also unveiled an ambitious defense roadmap. Meanwhile, Chinese President Xi Jinping said China attaches great importance to the development of bilateral relations and will mark the 60th anniversary of diplomatic relations by upholding basic principles, breaking new ground, building on past achievements, and are ready to work together on new paths. If we trace the history of relations between France and China, their official relations began with France's recognition of the People's Republic of China on January 27, 1964. Subsequently, in 2004, French-Chinese relations were elevated to the level of global strategic partnership. Apart from this, strategic dialogue between the two countries was officially started in the year 2001. The talks cover a range of areas and aim to further strengthen dialogue on global issues, including global economic governance reforms, climate change, and regional crisis. It is noteworthy that despite all the differences, China is trying to improve its relations with Europe. In this sequence, last year, French President Emmanuel Macron visited China in April, after which Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire visited China in July. Talking about France, which also has rich historical past, is the largest country among the countries of the European Union. Situated between the Atlantic and the Mediterranean Sea, the country has a coastline of approximately 3,200 km. Apart from this, a special part of France is located in the Indian Ocean, which is known as Réunion Island. Réunion Island, located in the Indian Ocean, about 10,000 kilometers away from the border of France, is very important from the strategic point of view. France has its own military base in this region. This region, which has emerged as a digital hub in the world, has immense potential for economic progress. Along with this, the importance of this region increases further due to its presence in the Indo-Pacific region. In its effort to establish its identity as a global power, it is beneficial for China to extend its hand of friendship to France. By increasing its closeness with France, China can expand its reach into the Indian Ocean and respond to groups like the Quad. Let us tell you that India, Australia, Japan, and America are included in the Quad group. Since the formation of this group, China is considering it as a threat to itself. This is the reason why China is trying to counter this group through France. Beyond geopolitical issues, China is also trying to achieve its economic interest through France. According to statistics, at present, France is the fourth country in the world in terms of nuclear weapons and is also included in the list of leading countries in the manufacturing of defense equipment. China presents itself as a big market. Apart from this, a big reason for China giving priority to relations with France is that French President Macron is pressurizing Europe to make it a third bloc, which will be formed between America and China. It is considered a balancing force. In such a situation, China wants to strengthen its hold on France. According to political analysts, China was keeping a vigilant eye on Macron's visit to India because France is emerging as a major defense partner for India. America and European Union are also looking towards India to counter China. In such a situation, immediately after Macron's visit, China has emphasized on relations with France. Coming to the other aspect of this issue, it seems that China, which had adopted an aggressive stance, is now changing its strategy. In fact, whereas earlier China used to take forward the fight by pursuing its own interest in the fight between two groups, now it is teaching the lesson of global peace. Be it the Saudi Arabia-Iran dispute or the recent Pakistan-Iran dispute, China mediated in it and contributed in improving the relations between these countries. At the global level, China is now trying to be politically vocal and is trying to become a center in geopolitics. China is maintaining its enmity with America and India very well, but by increasing closeness with the enemy's friends, it is now fighting the war at the diplomatic level. If we talk about India amidst all this is not a good sign for India because France is a close ally of India. Many economic and diplomatic agreements between the two countries are an indicator of the depth of this relationship. A free Indo-Pacific is the need of India, and if its allies go to China's side, then India's voice may become weak. In such a situation, both the Western camps and India will have to emphasize on further strengthening their relations with France. So this was all about China and France. Now is the turn of this week's Sunday special episode, in which we will take a look at some other important global happenings. Recently, Johor Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar took over the throne as the 17th Sultan of Malaysia. Malaysia is preparing for the hand-on of the king to mark the new king's accession to the throne. Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar 65 was installed as the 17th Yang di Pertuan Agong or king at a ceremony in Kuala Lumpur. He will serve as the king of Malaysia for 5 years. In fact, Malaysia has a unique system of rational monarchy under which the country's 9 hereditary rulers will act as Yang di Pertuan Agong in turns. In Malaysia, the king is constitutional monarch who serves as head of state and commander of the armed forces. Malaysia's royal houses remain powerful symbols of identity for many Malays, and the sultans serve as protectors of Islam in their kingdoms. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has rejected 2 major demands made by Hamas during indirect ceasefire talks. The Israeli Prime Minister said that Israel will neither withdraw from the Gaza Strip nor release thousands of jailed terrorists. Meanwhile, Israeli forces working secretly attacked a hospital in the West Bank and killed 3 Palestinian terrorists. It is noteworthy that violence has increased in the West Bank since the beginning of the war in Gaza. The Israeli military, in support of the attack, says that the army shot 3 people whom Hamas claimed to be the members at Ibn Sina Hospital in the northern city of Jenin. The army said they were using the hospital as a hiding place and were planning at least one attack, while the Palestinian Health Ministry says Israeli forces have opened fire inside hospital wards. They have called on the international community to stop Israeli operations in hospitals. Recently, Vietnam and Philippines have signed an agreement on cooperation on maritime security in the South China Sea. Under the signed agreement, the coast guards of both the countries will work together to prevent and manage incidents in disputed waters. This agreement between the two countries was made during the state visit of Philippines President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to Vietnam. It is noteworthy that the South China Sea is at the center of a territorial dispute between China, the Philippines, and other countries. China claims almost the entire South China Sea as its sovereign territory, while the Philippines, Vietnam, and other Southeast Asian countries claim various islands, islets, reefs, and shoals around their coast. In fact, the South China Sea is economically and strategically important. An estimated $5 trillion in international trade passes through this area each year. Therefore, there is a conflict between Southeast Asian countries and China for dominance in this region. So that's all in today's episode. See you in the next episode. But before that, let's note down a question based on today's story. Increasing relations between China and France are not good for India. Comment. For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.